and welcome to End to End. We are coming to you from our new location, our new home, the Triple Century Sports Bar in New Kingston. I'm your host, Jamila Lichmore, and with me, as always, though I try to shake them, Andre Lowe and Kwesi Mugisa. Guys, what are you calling yourself these days?
Well, I am a guru, and he's just crazy, so I don't know.
Well, you know, so he says, but his arguments never live up to that now, do they?
I agree with you. I won't say that to anybody else, but I agree with you. Today we start with the sport of football. Big changes are coming for national football, and no, it's not a new Reggae Boys coach. Neither is it a new president of the Jamaica Football Federation. We're talking the JFF's new franchise system. After that, it's on to track and field, where we definitely enjoyed the fruits of a golden generation.
Yeah,
but what happens after both? What happens to Jamaica's track and field? Lastly, and I'm sure we're in the perfect location, we're going to talk about the sport of cricket. Some may say it's the only thing that seems to unite us as a region. But Test cricket, do people still play it? I mean, after 4 or 5 days, sometimes you don't even have a winner.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's our debate for today, guys. Let's get started. Alright, as promised, we begin with football and the JFF's new proposed franchise system. Now, if local football isn't dead, maybe somebody should be merciful and just pull the plug. I mean, year after year, clubs complain about not being able to pay their players, not being able to stay afloat, not being able to attract fans. Now the JFF says that they can save the day. But can they? Guys, let's talk the new franchise system.
Well said, Jamila. And let's start there, because the truth is, the current system as it is does not support development at a wider scale in football in Jamaica. There isn't enough money simply to support the financial needs as far as infrastructure and personal development is concerned. Now, there are a lot of holes in this JFF proposal, but I put it to you, Kwesi, that if we're able to engage the communities, to engage the corporate interests, then there are a lot of benefits to it. Now, sport is a US $600 billion industry, and football dominates that with about 43% of the global market. And I put it to you that there are a lot of benefits to be had, and if we can suggest that in a convincing way to the local business community, then I don't see why this can't be a success.
Dre, I agree with you most of those points, but the fact is, and I've heard all the sentimental arguments, Boys Town been here for 300, 400 years, what's going to happen with the fans? But I tell you what, it comes down to money. These owners have been investing year after year, pumping money into these clubs, and all of a sudden you want to stop them and say, look, the club doesn't exist anymore, or we're heading back to a lower level that you will not be able to recoup your investment. No, that's going to be a problem.
No, of course, and like I said, there are many holes that need to be filled, and the JFF will have to, of course, say to us and show us where this money is coming from. I'm not quite sure which company or which business interests have shown or has shown an interest in this franchise system.
That's the second thing. Who is going to be interested in the franchise system? It's been on the table for 2 years now, I believe, just about, and we haven't heard anybody from corporate Jamaica say, yes, we love this idea, we'd be willing to get on board. Don't tell me that you plan to pour new wine into old wineskins.
Okay, hold on. I have a question, right? What I want to know is that why isn't it that the JFF just threw out the proposal to the clubs to say that obviously the way you're operating now isn't going to work, you need to either shape up or ship out? Why give them an either or thing? Join the franchise or it's not going to work. Why not tell them to fix whatever it is that they're doing? Obviously there are more ways in which they could operate in a better way. Obviously there's a way in which they could make the money that they need to run the clubs and also pay the players.
The simple fact, Jamila, is that there isn't enough professionalism, first of all, in local football. Secondly, there isn't enough money, and the franchise system seems to me as the only plausible way for us to get that kind of support.
But the thing is that Rome wasn't built overnight, though. You just tell the teams that, okay, this is what you need to do to become financially viable, and then give it, allow them to become financially viable.
There are too many teams. We have to face that fact. Kingston alone, there's just too many. I mean, all of them cannot survive one individual franchises. But the problem with the franchise system is that it will tell many of the successful ones that you stay, they've already made their money from selling players. How are the other clubs going to recoup the money spent over these years?
They'll have to find a way to monetize their involvement at a lower level. Now, be it through player sales up to a higher level or player sales internationally. The JFF and the franchise system isn't preventing them from making money, Mugi. The fact is, you have to admit that currently, as it is, it simply makes no sense. In fact, it's more sense for us to be playing a game of FIFA 14 on PlayStation 4 than paying too much attention to the National Premier League, because each club spends in excess of $15 million every year to compete in the league. And if you win every single competition there is to win, every single cent of prize money, you won't recoup even a third of that money.
Yes,
it's a waste of time.
It does not work. It certainly does not work. But the hope for those players is that I get a very talented player, maybe sell overseas, and I can recoup my money in that way. It's been going on for years with them investing in the clubs, of course. But how do you recoup that?
My final point is we certainly need to give this franchise system serious consideration. Now, what I've heard is a lot of self-interest and people looking at their own club and how they're going to make back money that they spent over these years. Give it a chance. There are a lot of holes that need to be filled. The JFF needs to explain a few things to all of us, but I just don't see domestic football going anywhere anytime soon under the current structure.
It's easy to speak about self-interest when I've already invested my money year after year. How do I get that back? I do agree that the JFF needs to give us a better plan as to how a lot of these issues are going to be ironed out. We haven't heard it yet.
All right.
So I think we can all agree that domestic football simply can't continue in its present state. And while Kwesi is saying he needs more information, Andre Lowe is saying, give it a shot. I'm saying maybe the clubs had their shot. Maybe it's time to see what this can do.
Well, that's it.